Hey guys, welcome to another video. This is Matt from Ecom Success Starter. In today's video, we teach you how to intelligently buy product and scale your business. Okay guys, so in today's video, we're going to teach you how to intelligently buy product and scale your business. So a lot of you probably have awesome motivation and the idea of starting in Amazon, whether that's as an individual seller or sending Amazon products, sending product to the Amazon warehouse. So that's a great first step. Wanting to start is number one. So how do you exactly start? There's different layers that you can go on, different pathways you can take, and here's what they are. Initially, a lot of people start with thrifting. So thrifting is an easy way to get inventory and then sell it as an individual or through FBA. Thrifting involves going to Salvation Armies, Goodwills, Savers, and looking for product that you can then resell for a profit. The next would be retail arbitrage. So retail arbitrage is a lot like thrifting, except you're going to Walmarts, you're going to Targets, you're going to Toys R Us, you're going to these big box stores and you're looking for deals that you can flip for a profit. So a lot of the times clearance will be way in the back. So you have to search for it. But what you're looking for when you scan products is products that are selling at a low cost that you can then flip for a profit. So the next would be online arbitrage. Very similar to retail arbitrage and thrifting, except now you're searching for your inventory online. You can go to overstock.com. You can even go to the big box websites, walmart.com. You can search for clearance items. I know I personally go on eBay and I look for cheap new in the box or used items that I can then flip on Amazon for a product. So that would be online arbitrage. Definitely a great way to get inventory. Then guys, the next step from there would be wholesaling. So wholesaling is taking a product from a manufacturer, a already branded product, and then becoming a reseller. So the way you make money here is you want to buy large quantities of the product, and typically whenever you do that, whenever you're an appointed reseller, you're going to get large quantities that are very low price. So then you take those items and then you can post them online as a reseller. Again, they're going to be branded items, and keep in mind, some companies do not allow for resellers for many reasons, but to keep it short, companies like Nike or other companies that are very well known are not going to be super friendly on resellers. But if you have a passion for it, it definitely helps to go on their website, contact the company, ask if they're looking or if they allow resellers, and then go after it that way. So that would be wholesaling, a great way to buy already branded products in high quantities at a low cost and then become a reseller and flip it for a profit. Now the final step, it's a big step for a lot of people, definitely involves a lot of capital, a lot of money up front for a lot of people. It will be private label. So private label is sourcing a product from a manufacturer that makes generic products and then branding the product with your own private label. So that's exactly what this means. You might be taking a blank slate product, let's say a coffee cup, for example, right? And then you put on maybe a design or your logo, and then you can call it your own brand. You might come up with a company logo or company name, and then you really run with it. You pick your niche, all these things. You can even make an online store and kind of build your brand and your company around this. So again, private label is definitely, I would recommend, a last step for a lot of people, because here's how it works. You're going to go on Alibaba or AliExpress. Now the difference here, and we're not going to get too deep into it, but Alibaba is ordering large quantities, minimum order quantities or MOQs. So the companies over in Asia through Alibaba will require you to order a minimum of, let's say, 100 or 200 or 500 of an item. And then you can send them a logo that you want them to put on either the box or the product itself. And then that's how you make a private label product. So I know I threw a lot at you there, so let's just reel it back in and we'll start again with thrifting. And I'm gonna hit these on a high level. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below in the comment section, but let's start off with thrifting, and then we can address as we go on how to make money thrifting. And this advice is going to help you in any sourcing method, whether you're here in the beginning with thrifting. A lot of people start here. It's a smart place to start. Or if you're over here in private label and you've been doing this for a while, if you follow these basic steps, you're more likely than not going to win. So whenever you're in a store, there's going to be a product that you have your eye on. It might be some books, it might be old electronics, it might be board games. So either use the Amazon Seller Central app, or you can use another app. I use Profit Bandit, right? So open the app and take the barcode of the product and scan the barcode. Now, a great resource for you guys is called myfulltimefba.com. So it's right down here, myfulltimefba.com. Okay, so great resource. So what this does is categorizes for everything from books to automotive to clothing, the whole spectrum, kitchen, home goods. It's going to rank the top 5%, 10%, and so on. It's going to tell you, let's say there's 10 million books in the book category. It's going to tell you if you scan an item, whenever you scan the item, you're going to get a sales rank. So based on that sales rank, you're going to look at this chart, and it's going to tell you the top 1% sales rank, the top 5% sales rank, the top 10% sales rank. So this is how you buy intelligently. Let me just repeat it, guys. Sales rank is how you buy intelligently. But I know a lot of people are saying, wait, there has to be, it's not that simple. Don't go off a sales rank, especially on books. I get it. But you have to start somewhere. Let's explain sales rank. So sales rank gives you an idea of how many units Amazon is moving through their warehouse, how much demand there is for that specific product in a month. So if you scan a product, like I said, and it comes up in the top 1% of sales rank, that means it's in that particular month at least, because this number changes quite often, okay? So if you scan it, it's a low number. That means it's a very fast moving product. And what really constitutes low? Look at the chart, guys. If you're a beginner, or even if you're a veteran, it's good to kind of go back to the basics every now and then. If it's a low sales rank in the top 1%, 5%, 10% in most categories, that's a win. That's eventually going to sell. And the way that you can tell if it's profitable is your app. You should really live and die by your app. Now, if you don't have the app, a lot of these scanning tools give you free scans. So I know Profit Bandit gives you free scans. Whenever you're scanning the product, type in the buy cost. So if a used book costs you $2 from Goodwill, type in $2 to the app, and then it'll tell you, okay, here's my profit, right? So you're going to get a lot of information when you scan your app. Type in the buy cost and see if it's a profitable product. Secondly, remember that sales rank, right? If it's a profitable product, but has a very, very high sales rank, again, we want low sales ranks. If it has a very high sales rank, that's likely not going to sell very quickly. Now, don't get too upset by that, okay? I don't want you to only look for sales ranks in the hundreds, right? It's okay to buy things that have 10,000 sales rank or 50,000 sales rank or 100,000 sales rank, okay? It's all about the categories, guys. I can tell you from my experience, and I've done hundreds and hundreds of sales, way past $10,000 of sales now, and it keeps going upward and upward and upward, guys. Toys are a big seller. Electronics are a big seller. Home and kitchen are a big seller, right? These items are going to move a lot quicker than maybe an old piece of electronic device that's outdated and there's 5 newer models now in stock. So keep in mind, if it's a more commonly sought after item and it's not replaced already with another model, then it's likely a smart buy. But keep in mind, guys, you want to compare your buy cost and your sales rank. So those are huge indicators, as is the category, if it's a smart buy. I cannot stress this enough, guys. Scan the product you have to live on your scanning app. See if it's profitable first. Typically, what you want to look for is a product that has a sale price of 3 times higher than what you paid for it. Why is that? Because Amazon has fees for getting your product off the shelf. So if you have a product that sells for 3 times what you paid for it, then even after all the fees, you're still going to make money. But again, the app, whenever it says profitability, it takes all of that into account, and it'll tell you, yes, after everything, this is how much you will make. Okay guys, so let's move on to retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. So I would definitely encourage you to go out and do retail arbitrage. Go to your Walmarts, go to Targets. A big tip would be to go to stores that may be closing and they're liquidating their inventory. So scan as much as you can. But you definitely want to scan clearance items. Definitely want to find the clearance section. I know in Walmart, it's all the way in the back. Sometimes they put yellow balloons on their clearance merchandise, but whether it's clothing, whether it's toys, whether it's DVDs, the good thing about retail arbitrage, you will never waste a lot of time processing the inventory. And why is that? You're buying brand new product. You don't have to count pieces of a board game or open things to make sure it's not dirty. It's all sealed up and ready to go. So definitely look at clearance sections. Do not waste your time, guys. So whenever you're doing online arbitrage, it's the same thing, guys, except that you're not going to have a barcode to scan. But this is exactly why I put that pathway from thrifting, retail arbitrage, then online arbitrage. That's because you need to get out there and scan items. When you do, you'll say, wow, every time I scan this board game or this DVD or whatever you want to scan and it's selling well, you're going to remember that. So you think, wow, if I could get more of those, I would love to sell and add those to my inventory, because every time I find them at Goodwill or Walmart or Target, they sell. So I want more of them. So then what you do whenever you get a list together, what moves quickly, you look on eBay or you look online and you see if you can find that same product at a cheap cost. For instance, I do a lot of success with Nintendo games. So whenever I looked around my house, I said, well, I have all these Nintendo games. I sent them in and they sold like that. So what did I do? I went on eBay and then I looked for more of those Nintendo games. And I tried to find them in a used condition at a very low price. And then they sell for a lot more on Amazon. I don't know if you ever shop eBay and Amazon together, but eBay is almost always cheaper. It is, because people don't know the value of what they have. And then people like us come in and we buy it and then we resell it on Amazon for a higher price, because Amazon has 2-day Prime shipping. They can do that. People will pay more for it. So I think that's why there's a difference there in price. So that's a great way, once you kind of get your feet wet and you do some thrifting, you do some retail arbitrage, to expand on your inventory, to expand on the successful inventory. Because if something's making you money, then multiply it. Buy 10 of those items and it'll save you time because you're not driving around. It'll get to your door, you put an Amazon sticker over the barcode and you're good to go. And now, instead of one item that makes you money, you're gonna send in 10 items that make you money. So that's online arbitrage. There's also a few different ways to do that. Some individuals buy pallets. So basically, you can go to bulk.com and I can put the link in the description below, but there's websites where you can buy pallets or overstock of inventory. You have to sort through it, you have to scan items. Sometimes you don't even know what you're gonna get, but that's also more or less an online arbitrage. You can go on websites and buy pallets, large quantities of product, and process it that way. Okay guys, so wholesale and private label, these are the big guys. And I say that because you can really get burned doing these, and here's why. If you talk to a manufacturer overseas about getting a lot of their product, so let's take wholesale for example. So there's a lot of good wholesalers out there, all overseas and in the United States, that are willing to work with you, right? But sometimes you can't get the exact product you want, and I've done this. So I've worked on Alibaba. I've talked to my manufacturers until 2 a.m. in the morning, negotiating prices and all these things. And I had a clear vision. I wanted to sell a very popular toy. Okay, so I knew exactly the manufacturing company that needed to get me this toy. There's a large manufacturer in China that makes this toy, and I said, hey, I need 200 pieces. They must be from this manufacturer, and so they must be legitimate toys, right? Because we're all fearful that they're going to send us counterfeits. I need legitimate toys. I'm going to buy 200 of them. What is the cost? So they gave me the cost, and it's great. That's great. We'll take it. But first, I need to see some samples. Always, 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 guys, get samples. This is not just coming from me. This is coming from experts who have done this for a living. I've talked to professionals. I watch YouTube videos just like you have. Hours, hours, and hours of videos. I've also talked to someone over the phone who sourced from major retailers in the United States, who's been to China, who's been to these manufacturing areas. And their recommendation and my recommendation is to get samples, and here's why. So whenever I received my sample, you're expecting this nice quality, just like the picture, right, sample, but then what I got back was a completely different toy. Super frustrating. That's not what I wanted, guys. And to you and me, it's so simple. This is the toy I want. I want 200 of them to make money. I need it at this price. But what happens is every manufacturer wants your business. So they're all going to say that they can fulfill your order. They're all going to say that they make that toy, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they might think they know a manufacturer that makes that toy, and they think they can maybe change your mind on what you want. They sent me a different toy. They also sent me this knockoff. You could just tell it was fake. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. That is how you do not get burned. And there's many other ways. You can get referrals. So you can talk to people in Facebook groups. You can kind of look to see and ask people, what are some good manufacturers out there? I'm interested in sourcing in the United States. I'm interested in sourcing overseas. Has anybody worked with a reputable manufacturer? There's so much that goes into it, guys. But for wholesale and private label, if you're sourcing from overseas or in the United States, make sure to ask for a sample. Also, like I said, you can absolutely contact companies. For instance, I was interested in reselling a very popular men's watch. So it's a great product. It's lightweight, right? It's small. And I know there's probably massive margins. I've seen resellers, so I knew that they accepted resellers. And I wanted to get in on it because this person that I saw, moving product, and this was on eBay, okay? So I contacted them. I said, hey, I'm very interested in reselling your product. I've been a seller for X amount of months. I'm a professional seller on Amazon, done very, very well. Can I become a reseller? They actually said no, because we have so many resellers selling our product on e-commerce, on eBay and Amazon. It's actually pushing us out of the market. It's amazing to me how this power that we have to be sellers can even hurt major corporations. I'm focusing a lot on online arbitrage and doing very, very well. Had my highest month I've ever had in December because of the holidays. But wholesale is definitely a target for me in January. Would definitely recommend doing it, guys. Okay, guys, let's move on to private label. And private label is a last step for a lot of people because you can definitely get burned, but there's definitely ways to intelligently do that. So private label is sourcing products in large quantities and then branding it. And you don't have to change the product, guys. Private labeling is literally as simple as putting your logo on a box and calling it your own. So careful, because if it's a copyrighted or if it has a patent on the design, you can't private label the product. But if it's a generic product, and I like to use these as an example. right? So these are these coffee filter things. You put them over your coffee cup, you put a paper filter in there, and it drips your coffee, right? So if you look on Amazon right now, there's maybe 20 or more private labelers selling these in a metallic aluminum finish. So all these individuals do is they go to Alibaba, they type in aluminum coffee dripper, and they get 200 of these things, put their own logo on a box, and then send them into Amazon. And now they're on the Amazon page as so-and-so coffee dripper, whatever you want to call your company. So you don't have to change the product at all, guys. The way that you win in private label is a few different ways. Now, just as a warning, again, I say you need to buy high quantities of this because shipping takes a long time from China. And we don't want to get too far into this, but it takes a long time. So if you buy 200 of these things and you run out, if you sell out, you're not going to get a new batch for another month, which can hurt sales. But like I was saying, if you put your logo, let's say right here, it's now yours. You can also change the color. Maybe nobody has a yellow one of these, right? That would be a way to differentiate yourself. You can also maybe throw in a coffee spoon or coffee stirrer. You can throw in a plate for your coffee cup to sit on. So that's how you win in private label. The only thing that you and I care about is who's on the first page, who has the lowest price with the highest quality product, and is it a reputable company, right? If they have a bunch of reviews, it looks great, it's a low price, we're gonna buy it. That's plain and simple. If you're on the 5th page or 6th page, no one's ever gonna see you. So what do you have to do? You have to differentiate yourself, and that's how you begin private label. And there's a lot of different ways, guys, and we're going to go into this in my course that I'm going to make. So if you're interested in kind of diving into each one of these in a more strategic fashion, feel free to consider the course whenever we open here very shortly. But there's a few different ways that you can win in private label that we're going to go into down the road. Okay, guys, I know that was a lot of information, but let's just recap 2 things that you need to know to be successful in product sourcing for Amazon. 1, your buy cost. Whenever you're scanning barcodes, make sure you're still profitable based on what you buy it for. And 2, the sales rank. For a lot of categories, sales rank means a lot. Now, for others like books, it's a little bit different because if it's a topic that's outdated or that maybe there's newer books out there that have more updated, useful information. So number 2 is sales rank, which applies to a lot of categories. If it's a low sales rank, more often than not, it's going to be a fairly fast-moving product. So make sure to keep that graph that I mentioned with you. It does change and it gets updated every month. So you can print out, it's a 1-page form that shows the sales ranks, compare it to the sales ranks and see if it's a smart buy. See if it's a smart buy based on how low or high the sales rank is for that category. All right, guys, so that's the basics of what you really need to know on how to intelligently buy products for Amazon. The first step is getting out there and doing it, guys. Again, whether it's thrifting or whether it's retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale, or private label, you just have to get started. If you do like this content, feel free to like the video and always consider subscribing. My videos will come out on Tuesdays. Again, this is Matt from Ecom Success Starter. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.